Another Kazon's Truth production. Let's go. Welcome to Kazon's Truth. My name is Kazon, and I'm here to tell the truth.
Beat money. Beat money.
If you will, please, on your way in, tap that like button. Hit that subscription so you can subscribe. Touch that bell so you'll know when things are heating up. Also,
Beat money.
Kazon Senior, followed by the $sign. That'll be KAAZ as in zebra, ON. Capital S as in Sam. Aura as in railroad, followed by the $sign. Also, for any questions or concerns, or Zelle, both, kazon@gmail.com. That's kazon@gmail.com. No underscores, no numbers, no punctuation marks, nothing. Just kazon@gmail.com for any questions or concerns. What happened to Nolan Xavier Wells? Yeah, let's check it out. Let's see. According to my notes, and what I have, what happened to Nolan Wells? Well, I'm almost 98.9% sure they're going to come back with drowning. And I think most expect that much. Before we go any further, so we'll be able to operate, let us run the disclaimer. Basically, Kazon, the K Factor, please go subscribe. We having some fun over there. That's more of an entertainment. We are on a particular subject. It was newsworthy. Things are heating up. Very popular names are affiliated. Not that the person is that popular. Kazon, the K Factor. Subscribe. The K Factor as well as Kazon Truth both work, operate, respect, and go to surgery under the fair use. It's up under the Copyright Act of 1976, under Section 107. Everything that will be shown here for commentary, criticism, news, education, research, genealogy, religion, history, all of it. It'll be used for all of that. Anything outside of that will be infringing. All rights belong to the respective owners of what we will be displaying in just a few. That, ladies and gentlemen, is our disclaimer. Therefore, we are prepared for surgery. Back to the main question. What happened to Nolan Wells? Well, let's take a look. Let's take a look. Because just in brief, you may hear it repeated, I'm sure you will, but just based off of my notes, it appears on July the 4th, 2026, on a place called Horns Island, off the coast of Ocean Springs, Pascagoula, Biloxi, right off their coast. Well, I myself, I reside in Pensacola, Florida. I don't know if you can see the arrow, but on the screen, when, not if, when I go to Biloxi, I have to go through Ocean Spring. I have stayed in Ocean Spring multiple a times. I have a good friend of mine's family, running partner, married to my first cousin, been bowling over 30 something years. I know we started out together. He kept pushing many tournaments in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. July the 4th, that was also my 24th anniversary. My wife is from Mississippi. I'll give you this much. Her, my wife, and R.B. singer Brandy are from the same hometown. And then, already earlier mentioned, Biloxi, Duffport, Cat Williams, Jill Scott concerts, Biloxi, casinos, and I'm not even a gambler. I just love their daiquiris. Give me a nice crispy $20 bill. Give me my phone, my headset, and we'll sit there and have fun. Biloxi, Hard Rock, the Belvedere, many more. Can't get there without going through Ocean Spring. It's right down the road. It's right down the road. So we could say that it kind of hit home. Horn Island are those little pieces. And again, I don't know if you can see the arrow, but if you look off the coast and see those other land mass, Horn Island, Marine something Island, the barriers, they mainly come into play during or if we're experiencing some type of a tropical depression or hurricane in the Gulf. Robin Givens, I believe she's from Past Christian. Not the I don't think it's Theodore. All of those are in Alabama. Main City, Mobile. Just pulled the body out of a European man, appeared to be married to an ADOS woman. You will hear me reference ADOS all the time in reference to this mix up that you have been talking into, even though this show is not for that. ADOS is in the place of black. You're not a color. ADOS, American descendant of slavery. The institution that is. There's a nationality in that. There's a history. There's a lineage base, all in one name in describing our people. I do want to come back to that a little bit later on because I've heard some of the most going on out here on this subject matter when the main focus is what happened to this young brother. Young man come from a mom and dad home. While I'm on mom and dad, some of you really, really need to take a few minutes out. I mean, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. This goes for me, and if it goes for me, you know doggone well it'll go for you. Family. This whole thing of people not wanting to do the real work. Real work doesn't necessarily mean you're going to solve this case, hit it right on the head, because the honest truth, don't nobody really know what's going on. But the people that went out there with him, but right now, I want to start with the family. I have to take notes. You understand? You have to take notes. Without notes, you'll just get to running amok and your brain not clicking. You just start spewing things out your mouth. So I'm going to clear up something real quick. The Wansley. Nolan was a Wells. If you look closely, his grandfather, Sir Wells Jr., Senior, Senior. What that tells me is that's Nolan's grandfather on his mother's side. What that also tells me is Before his mother and father obviously were married, Nolan was born. And not all the time, but most of the time, here under the United States of America, you are what your mother is. I was born in wedlock. Conceived, conceived, but yet born in wedlock. Nolan, on the other hand, parents, whatever was going on, it could have been a slight breakup. It could have been whatever. Yet, when he was born, he took on his mom's maiden name, Wells. Her father is a Wells. And if he's a senior, she has a brother that's a Wells. Y'all do understand how genealogy works, right? The sons carry on the last name. Our sisters marry and take on their husband's last name. Still family. I hope this clears up why Nolan's last name is different from his mother and father. It just simply means when he was born, they weren't married yet. And that's how he became a Wells. He took on his mom's maiden last name. Let me address something else. Passing them, both of them would appear, scratch that, all three of them would appear to be or have ADOS in them. Therefore, according to the rules of the game under United States, they're ADOS, mistakenly called black. Now, there is a crisscross here. Remember when I said in America, you are whatever your mother is. And if Brother Wells Sr., Triston's father, that's Nolan's mom, if he was ADOS, but yet married and had his family with a Filipino woman, Korean, Vietnamese, Chinese, Japanese, whatever you want to put there. She said Filipino. Then by mother, she is Filipino. And his ADOS comes hardcore from the father, as well as his grandfather on his mother's side. So he still falls within the bracket of being family. July the 4th, Foreign Island. Nolan Wells was last seen. I have 3 p.m. I have a young man by the name of Triston that popped up and said it was him, the one that they heard arguing, being supported by Javon, who is through Nolan's mom's account, is a personal family friend. Triston, on the other hand, she doesn't know. Triston said some things. I'll see, can I dig that up? But anyway, I want to take a listen here. We'll take a listen at Javon here. Triston, on the other hand, I am so shocked. I'm so surprised. I wish the people would put me in a position. Yes, sir. Oh, no, it don't even have to be no position of power, but yet a position. Because I'm shocked. Nobody asked Triston if that is true, which I don't think he's being truthful. That's me personally. In my opinion, I don't. His timing was off. That was one of the first videos that surfaced from that day. Obviously, people did have phones in their hands. There was something recorded. And I don't think that's Triston. I do believe that was Nolan. I do believe someone told Triston, listen, that's you, bro. Huh? Yeah, that got to be you. Let's listen to Javon's account.
Javon, have you seen the video that's been going around social media where people think that they're hearing an argument between people and they're wondering whether or not Nolan is one of the people in that argument? You just described that you had another friend, not Nolan, another friend who was in and got into a dispute. Is that video the other argument that you were talking about?
Yes.
So, but is that Nolan in the video?
I can't tell. It's too far away. But
now, if you will, give me a second to pick my phone up. Put on thy glasses here as we sit up here. Now, his first answer is, which I believe is the truth, he don't know.
But in that video, I feel like it's the...
Now, you have to listen to the language. He's about to explain to you how he feel. Not that that's truth. It's almost like the people that tell you, but I'm a believer. I believe. Unbeknown to them, believe means you do not know. You don't. But you are willing to accept maybe a body of literature, mythology, folklore, rumors as truth. Not that it is. You're just willing to accept that. And that's why you believe. Kind of like be like Eve. Anyway. Javon, on the other hand, is about to talk to you about what he feels.
The voices are too clear, like from the side. It's too clear for it to be that far away, for it to be Nolan arguing. And then also that altercation, it sounds just like my other friend that got into an altercation on the boat.
Let's unpack that. My question would have been narrowed down. Were you there? Did you at least see Nolan? How many altercations, to your knowledge, were there on the evening of July the 4th, leading up to the hours of 3 o'clock of him having a conversation with a young lady, which, well, let's finish up with Javon.
And they were trying to, like, as he was in the altercation, I was calming him down. They were trying to get him out off the island. They were trying to get him back to land because
So now Triston, you are agreeing, is the one not only was bucking, but you personally calmed him down and participated on getting him on the boat to take him back to land.
he was just losing it. So
because he was losing it, he went straight psycho, bucking. Probably, say, I ain't gonna do like that tear guy. I'll get to him on another day. Russ, I could conversate with you. Your boy Holston, he like batteries not included.
Well, describe that. That's kind of interesting. What was that about?
he was just very hostile. Like he was just like really like mad,
like psycho, angry, dangerous. Where's my thesaurus at? Straight spazzing out. He had them popped up, and popped out on y'all. Tweaking is what you saying.
Like they were trying to, like the parents on that boat were trying to get him out.
I'm curious if the police have, I know they said they're still investigating.
Hold up 1 second. See, because every time I go through something, I catch something. I didn't have that in my notes. Now, before I say, let me see, did he say what I think he said?
They were trying to get him out off the island. They were trying to get him back to land because he was just losing it. So
describe that. That's kind of interesting. What was that about?
He was just very hostile. Like he was just like really like mad. Like they were trying to, like the parents on that boat were trying to get him out.
The parents. Where's my pen? You got to take notes. I missed that. Parents took Triston. This is Javon now. Don't get him mixed up with Triston. To the mainland. I would have wanted him to tell me what time is that or what time was that.
Out.
I'm curious if the police have, I know they said they're still investigating. Did any investigators ever speak to you about what you saw that day?
No. And neither would they. It would not have been time for him to have a conversation with the police. Here's why. Here's why. The reason why is we didn't want to hear from nobody. Hold this right here 1 second. Let me see, can I make, oh yeah, I can make this a heck of a lot bigger. I'm so sorry about that. I would put it on my producer Junior there. I'm going to tell y'all something else too when I show you this. Okay. Now that I've made it a little bit bigger, before I forget, on the original picture that I seen, not this lady here. She or someone propped herself on there. But behind her head is the top part of another person. Appears, could be a woman, could be. As if, you know how you hold your cell phone up to catch you and the people you're trying to take a picture with? Well, that's kind of how it was angled. When I went back, it was gone. I must apologize for that. If you go over to my Kazon, the K Factor, and go look at one of my shorts, I think I have over 10,000 clicks on that. I was on my job once again. A little person. Never going to hear no mention. I do appreciate those people that came through, hit that like button, had conversation in that. I do. That was an incident that happened east of where I'm at. Okaloosa County, Fort Walton. 25-year-old young man. Last name was Ford, I think. It'll come to me in a second. United States Air Force. That piqued my interest. My father was Air Force. Also, to Nolan, Nolan's father, my father, and my grandfather all share that name, Elmo. So it was hitting home. Anyway, make this story real short. The police wound up killing the boy. It was reported that there was a fight, something going on in the boy's apartment. There's nobody in the boy's apartment. Boy's in the Air Force. Boy done got off from work, done went home. He got his girlfriend on the screen, talking to her on whatever y'all want to call it, the little face-to-face or whatever. Maybe playing the game. Police come up, knock on the door after being showed up there by office management. Cop knocks on the door, does not announce himself, steps to the side, to the left. Knock, 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 knock. He steps to the right. I got that moment of silence because that's how long he was on that wall, just chilling. Come back up, although I cannot absolutely prove this. I'm well enough within my understanding. When he knocked on that door the third time, he put his finger over that peephole. What was that boy's name? Olston? Ought to come to me. Anyway, the boy opens up the door, got his gun in his hand down by his side. The officer put 6 shots in him. He did not announce himself until that last time, and that's when the boy opened up the door. Off of him announcing who he was. Olsen didn't know that for sure. Boy was Air Force, a captain. You know how hard, you know how smart that kid had to be? Anyway, as the story started taking on, they took out of this deputy knocking on this door, right? Knock, 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 step to the right, didn't say anything. Knock, 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 step to the left, didn't say anything. Knock, 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 finger over the peephole. Okaloosa Sheriff Department. Boy, not too for sure. Somebody out here playing. What's going on? How many people get robbed? Knock, 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 knock. It's the police. Drug task force. Da, 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 da. And get your butt just as, what? Anyway, they tried to take that part off, but I caught it. I caught it. I caught the first story hot off the press. About time people in America started seeing it, those first series of knocks were gone. But I had them. I got over 10,000 some clicks on that thing. I'm a little bit upset that I didn't snap because anyway. I'm going to go look again. If I ever come back across it or find somebody else that caught it, I'll replace it with this. Javon. Last part was asked, or they were in shock that the police hadn't talked to him because he knows Nolan. And I'm thinking I'm not shocked because the primary interest would have been with these people and possibly 2 more upon this vessel here. With one of them, now, I'm not making this up. I'm just telling you from what I understand. Mother or stepmom is a judge. I don't know the woman. Never been in front of her. I ain't never caused no problem in Ocean Springs. In return, Ocean Springs, Jackson County, Harris County, ain't never had to worry about bothering me. Now, with that being said, if she is connected to one of them, my second question would be, what is the occupation of the remaining 3 or 4? What I'm talking about, what is those boys' parents' occupation? All right, let's go back to Javon. So now that takes care of the question of why Javon wouldn't have been talked to. Battery's not included. He's jumping up to either get gas or give gas to Triston's story of that's him the one that you hear up there saying, give me my effing phone. What are you doing with my effing phone? Here's my problem with that. Let me get set back on Javon. Javon, Triston, nobody, as it stands at this hour, ask Triston, who had your phone? Nobody. Why did they have your phone? Triston, your account is you and your girlfriend was having a back and forth, and an outsider intervened, and you basically cussed, bucked, tweaked, popped out on him. My problem with that is there is no mentioning of why you would have been saying, give me my effing phone. And you had to know that coming into this.
No, sir.
Really? Okay.
Cops have not talked to you yet.
No, sir.
That's odd.
I don't see why the cops would have. I don't see why the cops would have to talk to me. I mean,
and I'm talking about he's strong double down. No, sir. If you know, you know. No, sir. Talk to me or what? Issue. Talk to me. My man's damn near offended. They asking him such a question. But I don't blame him, because these are the ones that retain, from my understanding. I didn't say they hired. I said they retained counsel and remain silent. Now, listen. What you do on one side of the equal sign in an equation, you have to do on the other. I'm a constitutionalist. I know and believe and understand rights. That was their right. Is it helpful for us to have a better understanding from words coming right out the mouth? Yeah, that would be that could have been very, very, very helpful. Now you're talking about, because even when we'll see, we'll get to that.
Obviously, like I had said my plea, because whenever I had talked to the people at,
when you said your plea, when you said your part, who was you explaining your part, your plea, as you said? Probably misspoke there, but who did you have that conversation with? And
son heard. It was whenever the body was discovered, and the autopsy people and all those people were there.
Well,
the autopsy people was there on the scene when the body was found, yeah, son. Shine, son. Son. Maybe. You know what? Maybe.
I'll tell you why I'm surprised. Because you knew Nolan well, and you knew that he was friends with these guys who were the last ones to be around him before his body was found. And I would think they would at least want to know, hey, just the things we're asking.
Right.
You know, did you ever hear of any of this stuff? It's odd to me.
Just to gather information.
Yeah, that the cops wouldn't have contacted you. Yeah.
And that's fine. Like, I'm completely fine with that. Like I said, I have nothing to hide. Like, that's my boy, and I want him to find justice. Like that. Like this whole case thing. Like whatever. Like this whole situation, and none of this adds up to me. So like, it's really hard. Like for like people to just like keep on saying things when like none of it adds up. Honestly.
So one of the things that I'm sure, Javon, you've seen has been a big part of this story. People making the point that, at least in the photos that we initially saw, that Nolan was the only African-American kid who was out there, at least on that boat.
Always remember, when they say African-American, you are the most different people on the planet. You know what they're saying? See, that's different from saying Italian-American. You know that person's mother is Italy. Or Irish American. You know their mother is Ireland. Nigerian American. You know their mother is Nigeria. Then you have these people called African American, which means continent. Almost no mother. African American.
Do you think, having been there on the island with this large group of people, that race plays a factor in whatever happened here?
Again,
race can't help but to be a factor. Although, like, I'm super educated. I know that there isn't but one race, and it's the human race. And that they're really talking about something else. But if they call it something else, it has to be addressed differently. Same thing with the whole black thing. Black Lives Matter. The black people. Okay, bet that up. Okay. Unbeknown to you, they have something for such people. It's called the Christian Black Codes, aka Black Codes. I have a video under here. I strongly advise you check that out. There's going to be a part 2 coming up real soon.
I don't want to answer that question. I wouldn't say like, yeah, I wouldn't want to.
Come on, man, because he got to live there. His mom them is there. Why y'all be come on. Kind of like the coach coming out. Like, what you, come on. You know, no history.
I want to answer that question. I mean, obviously, we go to Ocean Springs. We're going to have white friends. So, like, that's, I mean, I guess it's pretty normal down here, but.
Yeah, I mean, and I hear you. If that's, I guess you're saying that it's normal. It's not out of place to be a black teen in that area and that you have white friends, right? That's not uncommon is what you're saying.
I'm sure every black person has white friends somewhere, you know? So I wouldn't say that it's a whole race thing, but it's just like, obviously they're going to paint it as that because none of this adds up.
As of today, this is what we know. Nolan Xavier Wells, 18 years old, was found dead in the water near the northwest end of Horn Island on July the 6th. He was identified through dental records. No cause of death has been officially confirmed. Authorities suspect drowning. His family does not accept that conclusion without an independent investigation. An independent autopsy has been commissioned and was expected to release findings on Friday. The Jackson County Sheriff's Office says it has found no evidence of a crime, but stresses the investigation is active and that assessment could change. The cell phone has not been received for forensic extraction. The viral video is being reviewed. Javon Williams, Nolan's best friend, has not been contacted by investigators. Ben Crump and the family are pushing for a full, transparent, independent investigation. And Christine Wansley is still asking the question that no official answer has fully resolved. She said, "We're doing this because at the end of the day, I would hope any parent would fight for their kids to find out if anything happened, what had happened. What had happened on Horn Island? 18 years old, wide receiver, silent leader, more action than words. His mother's bright light. He went to a barrier island to celebrate the 4th of July. He did not come home. And until the full truth of what happened on that island is known, this case stays open."
Okay. Now, let's see here.
The boys were pulling up the location from Snapchat. So the Snapchat location looks completely different than the Life 360 location. So when I pulled up Life 360, it was different. It was showing everywhere the phone had been. Like it had, I was like, well, it's showing that he's back on land. Like I'm not, he's like, but no, he didn't come back with us.
And then this video of this, you can hear an argument going where Nolan is saying, "Give me my freaking phone. What are you freaking doing?"
But I do want to say this. I would hope that any parent who, God forbid, would be in our situation, I would hope that you would do the same thing. I would hope that you would ask for any help, receive any help to get answers, because at the end of the day, that's all we want. We just want to know. We just want to know what happened.
And that's what we're trying to get to the bottom. According back to my notes here, and this is, well, hold on one second. Give me 1 second here. I want to get this up here to you. And give me 1 second here.
Said that the boat that they came on experienced an electrical issue and they had to go back to shore because of that. And he says Nolan told the group he wanted to stay behind because he met a girl and planned to catch a ride back on another friend's boat. Now, Sheperd described this trip as one last hurrah before everyone scattered back to school and work after this holiday. There were about 300.
I noticed everybody started using the word hurrah after his father used it first. Interesting.
People on that island that day. A lot of them were high school classmates. They knew each other, and they wanted to spend this time as just one big party before everyone dispersed wherever they needed to go. But according to his friend, Triston Sheperd said that this wasn't anything sinister at all. It was an 18-year-old who wanted to have fun, but Kira, as we know, that 18-year-old Nolan Wells never made it back to shore.
Well, and Brian, Triston also addressed the viral video. Investigators, I've been looking into, saying he's actually the one yelling, not Wells. How crucial is that?
And nobody asked him, my man, my guy. If so, who had your effing phone? Now, come on now. All these smart.
Here, I think is very crucial in the sense of now we know who's yelling, why they were yelling, and according to Triston, it had nothing to do with what Nolan Wells was doing. Instead, giving us a description that a stranger was kind of getting in his face and he was yelling at him. This closed down one avenue of investigation. And while that might be heartbreaking that it doesn't give us an answer, eliminating possibilities as to what happened will hopefully steer us in the right direction, finding the right reason as to why everything happened. And then going back to something that Ike said, I hope that with Triston saying Wells was there talking to a girl, that we can get a description of that girl, what she was wearing, who she might be, and follow up on more questions.
So then, Brian, at this point of the investigation, it's the autopsy that I know we're all waiting to hear about, because that will definitely help us try to figure out what exactly happened, right?
Yes, the autopsy is probably the next step and probably the biggest step in determining what happened here. Autopsies do two things. It tells you the cause of death and the manner of death. It could be any number of things in terms of being a homicide, an accident. I don't believe it's going to be a natural death, but that determination is going to be important. But then also, of course, the cause. What caused Nolan Wells to die? Is it strictly the drowning? Was it something else? Is there blunt force trauma? That's going to give us a lot more answers and hopefully some questions that lead to the ultimate question and answer of what happened to Nolan Wells and how did he die.
Still the question. I think it's only right now. I gotta put old boy up there. I gotta put old boy up there.
I just know I've lost my best friend.
This morning, a friend of Nolan Wells, who was with the 18-year-old the day he was last seen alive, is sharing what he says happened.
Tell you something else too. If I had my team put together, I'm a boy. Listen, I'm gonna blow this picture up. He got on them Ray-Bans too. Yes, sir, and ma'am. I'm gonna reflect off them glasses to see what's going on behind there. You have man. You say they don't. That can't be done. That's impossible. All right.
Happened during a July 4th boat trip to an isolated barrier island off the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Triston Sheperd declined to speak with us on camera because he says he and his friends are getting threats.
We did no wrong here, and we don't understand how we're getting so much hate behind it. We all cared and loved Nolan.
Well, one of the problems that we have is that video was getting down. I believe later on Monday, Tuesday, you come running up into this almost 7-8 days. Well, I might be overdoing it. I'm gonna say 5 or 6 days after. That's odd to us. We all cared and loved Nolan, and nobody wanted to see Nolan die. Nobody wanted to see his life be taking so short. Hold up, family. We all cared and loved Nolan, and nobody wanted to see Nolan die. Nobody wanted to see his life be taken so short. These are the words of Triston now. You know, the one that the mom said she don't know him. He ain't never been to the house.
Nobody wanted to see Nolan die. Nobody wanted to see his life be taken so short.
Sheperd addressed this viral video that investigators have been studying. Wells,
man, hey, it's some people out there overdoing it, but hey, and from my understanding, when they write, they write. You have to just rock with it. Anyway, later on, according to my notes, And this is where things started becoming odd, but manageable. You understand? It's the Coast Guard now that baffles me a little bit. The Coast Guard had to revise, edit, hell, outright change. Because at first they denied that they got a call. And you know what? As guilty as they seemed in the very beginning of, no, we ain't get no call, to revising that by the next day, yes, we did get a call. And they did not wind up going out till about 12:26 on Sunday. Let's backtrack. The last sighting of Nolan was 3 p.m. The boys leave the island at 4:30. That's an hour and 30 minutes. Somebody would need to talk to me. I say, somebody I have to talk to me. Okay. As I try to take a deep breath and calm down. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to see, can we get caught up on something here real quick. Give me 1 second here. I'm talking about 3 o'clock. Okay. And then they left the island at 4:30. GPS is going to come back. Mom is, well, the GPS later, that's going to come in. We're just now finding that out, is what I'm basically trying to get out my mouth. All right. Now, according to what Triston just said, because at first I was kind of like, to be sure now, I wanted to be sure. I wanted to know, what did justice look like? What would it entail? Right? Coast Guard. We didn't get a call. Oh yeah, you know what? We did get a call. Seemed guilty, right? At first.
All of the.
Hold on 1 second here. And I would have thought so. Oh my goodness. I'm sitting up there messing that up. All right, Nolan's mom. She starts getting a call from the friend somewhere between the hour of 11 p.m. to 12 p.m. Okay. On the other video, we looked at what Josh, that's the European guy with the long beard, that's a part of the search team. Matter of fact, Josh Gill. Yeah, I'm talking about, he on the news again already this morning. He out there in Texas helping them out with the flood. And then you have Brian. Now, Brian, which I don't need to really play his video again. Go back and look at it. I'm just going to brush over it. When Brian said on, well, all right, this is Kazon's truth. I'm a little lost. Bryant said something about being called out on the night of the 4th of July. They went out on boat, drone. Okay, that's Sunday. Maybe he misspoke. Maybe he misspoke. Monday morning, though, Bryant himself goes up at 6 o'clock, fly over the island, over towards St. Charles, back over, and this is again, I heard the news, the guy that was questioning him kind of was leading. So you got a call. Bryant says yes, that there was a body discovered. Bryant says when he went up at 6 o'clock, there wasn't nobody there. When he returned back after the call, he doesn't say law enforcement, part of his team. He just said he noticed there were some boats. On that north end of that island that wasn't there earlier. Now, do with that as you may. I wish I knew a little bit more on who was those people. The guy that found them was walking the ground, from my understanding. If you know differently, please leave it in the comments. Email me, kazon@gmail.com. All right, now let's get ready to sew this thing on up.
Facts surrounding the case. I have yet to see a fact or a piece of evidence that suggests any foul play. But if there is, I feel confident that the sheriff's office,
See, one thing they do, sometimes they don't just drop something on you. They give you a moment to set it up first. They set it up first. You know what I'm saying? Throw you out some crumbs. See who and what comes down to eat. You see? But if you know what you're doing, it's enough to let you know, oh goodness gracious, it's coming. It's coming now. What you mean it's coming, Kazon's truth? Kazon's truth mean on the other side of this thing gonna have a soft landing.
district attorney's office, the members at the Department of Public Safety that deal with these crimes, if there had been one, they will find it and they will do what is necessary.
Tonight, new audio shedding light on the moments before some of Nolan Wells' friends left Horn Island off the coast of Mississippi.
We're sinking. Can y'all please come?
And is everybody on board in good health otherwise?
Yeah.
Now, let's go back to my notes. Although the Coast Guard denied being called that night, they later revised that statement and said that they did get a call. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. That's the position I find myself in. To tell the truth, I now understand why. The dispatch is right up there on the screen right now. I don't have a boat. I'm like Nolan's dad. I'm like Elmo. I don't have a boat at this time, and I don't know anybody that has a boat. But Nolan's dad, he was contacted by the coach. Called them up about 5 o'clock on Sunday morning. Actually, I think he called them a little earlier. I think he called them about 3. what going on, man? I kind of looked on Facebook. What's going on with Nolan? What you mean you can't find? What you mean you want to go out there? Almost, his dad said, "Yeah, man. I'm almost ready to swim it, man. I got a man, bruh, get yourself ready. Get yourself ready." And by 5 o'clock, they were headed out there. Give a shout out to the coach that took mom and dad out to the last place these people talking about they seen his son, their son. Back to this Coast Guard thing. This has nothing to do with Nolan. I'm going to let you ponder on that for a second while I try to light my cigar. I said, this call shouldn't even be in there. No more than, okay, part of them saying and making sure it matches up with what the judge said. But yet there's no mention of anything dealing with Nolan here. This is not a Nolan call. This is not a distress call for Nolan. You understand? It's not.
Yeah, everybody talks away.
Everything is so heavy. Everything is so heavy. This loss, this grief, this pain, it's different. It's insurmountable.
Since Nolan Wells went missing, then...
And just as sure as I see my man out there on that Gulf right there, I know he doing his thing. Just as sure as my man out there on that, out there in that water, you see, that rod right there, him holding that rod. Oh my goodness, I'm about to get so hyped up. If you don't know, that's what we do out here down here on that Gulf Coast. Out there in the Gulf of America, Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America. Pick one, choose one. Nevertheless, my man casting that rod out there. Yeah, that kind of hit my heart there a little bit there.
Turned up dead. The controversies haven't stopped.
Getting it out there. Come up with what you see on that screen. Go ahead, brother.
Investigators are still working, still digging, trying to answer one question. How did he die? Because right now, that cause of death is still a mystery. Tonight, we're going deeper. There's new audio, trending right now, released just 48 hours ago, and we're breaking down exactly what's in it. Audio from the boat. We have a problem out here. Those words, crackling over open water, on the 4th of July. It was supposed to be a routine trip. Horn Island, friends, music, sunshine. Then one boat started taking on water. A distress call went out. And somewhere in the...
Remember? Now, can I associate that with electrical problem? Was that a mishap? All right, the person that said it was an electrical problem, go pick them up, bring them in. Bring them in. Everybody come, man.
Chaos that followed. 18-year-old Nolan Wells disappeared. 2 days later, his body was pulled from the waves, near the same stretch of sand where he was last seen alive. That audio, raw, never heard until now.
That blows my mind. Brian, who went up on the, he saw nothing. Brian also makes the point, according to my notes, that the body was found like around 8:45 on Monday, July the 6th. And according to my notes, the body did not seem to be waterlogged. In other words, as if it hadn't been in the water that long, which made me start thinking about those boats that he said he saw.
Has surfaced. This isn't just another drowning on a barrier island. The FBI is investigating the death of Nolan Wells. And this new audio may be part of why. What was captured in those transmissions? Why did the boat leave without him? And how does a young man who told his best friend, "I love you," hours earlier?
And keep in mind now, there's a 3 p.m. last sighting. These boys leave the island at 4:30. Am I not right that that is almost 1 hour and 30 minutes? Now, I would have to go back to Katie, which nobody, as far as us covering it, has talked to Katie, but her mom and sister talked on her behalf. Her timing, not that they didn't, I'm sure they didn't like, yo, let's mark this. Check. It's 2:58. All right, nice meeting you. Nice meeting you. You know what I'm saying? It's not laid out like that. But what time was that? Was that before 3 p.m. or after 3 p.m.? They are alleged to have their conversation and him saying he's going back to the boat. And versus the time they saying at 3 p.m., he's just now leaving to go talk to the girl. Hold that in your left hand. But in your right hand, there's a conversation where he's just blatantly telling them, hey, y'all leaving. You know what? Bruh, I'm staying. Keep my phone. You keep it. I'm staying.
End up in the water. While everyone assumed someone else had taken him home, those answers aren't sitting quietly on a remote stretch of sand anymore. Federal investigators are chasing them. If you're new here, welcome to Phantom. We tell these
Shout out to Phantom
stories because families like the Wansleys deserve the truth. Delivered carefully, not carelessly. Hit subscribe. Join a community that refuses to look away. And wherever you're watching from tonight, Gulf Coast, Midwest, overseas, drop your location in the comments.
I'm on the Gulf Coast, Phantom. I'm about an hour down the road. If there ain't no backup on the causeway going through Mobile, I might can see you in about 45 to 50 minutes. Real talk. I-10, east-west. If you know, you know.
Comments. We read every one. Let's start with the audio that changed the case. July 4th, 2026. Horn Island, a thin, undeveloped barrier island roughly 10 miles off the Mississippi coast. Part of the Gulf Islands.
When they say that, that means there's nothing, no store. Let me go get some bait to fish with. Let me go get a fishing rod. Let me go get a flashlight. None of that. Whatever's on the island, you brought it with you.
National seashore. You can only reach it by private boat. No buildings, no services, just sand, surf, and on that holiday, crowds of coastal kids soaking up the sun, music carrying across the northwest tip. Nolan Xavier Wells, 18 years old, a fresh Ocean Springs High School grad, a wide receiver at Southwest Mississippi Community College. He headed out with a tight group of friends from a private dock near Ocean Springs. Blue swim trunks, no shirt, sunglasses. Friends
You see them go, boy, them glasses, I'm trying to tell you now, I'll be all up in them, like Mr. Magoo.
Remember him as energetic, social, big-hearted. He was last seen around 3 p.m. near the island's northwest end. Then his friend's boat started taking on water, a bilge pump failure. They pulled out around 4:30 p.m. According to accounts given to investigators, Nolan decided to stay behind. He said he'd catch another ride back, possibly after meeting a girl earlier that day. When the group reached the mainland, Nolan wasn't with them. One of the friends called the Coast Guard around 11 p.m. His mother, Christine Wansley, reported him missing. Searches followed. The sheriff's office, the Coast Guard, the Park Service, the United Cajun Navy, until a ranger found his body in the water off that same shoreline.
And keep it 100 now, Phantom. All of that you just mentioned, that did not take place until 12:26, 12:30 on Sunday, midday, high noon. Okay?
July 6th. He was identified through dental records.
Nolan's mom was being given the runaround on who had jurisdiction. Was it Ocean Springs? Was it Jackson County, Harris County, the Coast Guard, i.e. feds? Go here, call there. I think she winded up actually meeting them at a McDonald's somewhere in the parking lot to fill out the missing report. Pathetic.
Searches followed. The sheriff's office, the Coast Guard, the Park Service, the United Cajun Navy, until a ranger found his body in the water off that same shoreline. July 6th. He was identified through dental records. No obvious signs of trauma. The newly surfaced audio drops you right into those tense minutes on the water. Mechanical trouble hits. Chaos follows. And a promising young man is left behind while his friends head home for the night. His phone and keys traveled back with the group, a detail his family is still struggling with. Nolan had told people close to him he loved them just hours before. Now federal agents are examining digital evidence alongside Jackson County investigators, who've already spoken with roughly 60 witnesses. That audio isn't background noise. It's the sound of a holiday going wrong, and part of why this case escalated. What happened in those final hours on the sand is still coming into focus, but the search for answers is active. The audio doesn't open with panic. It opens with the ordinary sound of Gulf water against a hull, voices carrying on the breeze. The kind of casual chatter you'd expect from friends who've made this run to Horn Island before. Then the tone changes. Audio from the boat. We have a problem out here. You can hear the strain, the sudden focus. The boat is taking on water. A failing bilge pump forces an early departure from the island's northwest shore. Around 4:30 p.m., the group decides to head back to the mainland. Mechanical trouble in open water, the kind that turns a holiday into a scramble. There's background noise, waves, wind, the clipped urgency of people reporting a problem. No screaming.
You know what I wonder? I wonder the movement of Nolan's phone, if it aligns and matches up with the movement that they are gaining from the GPS on the boat itself.
No immediate disaster. Just the grinding reality of a boat they no longer trust to carry everyone. This is the call that pulled the group away, while Nolan stayed on the sand. Horn Island sits on federal...
Allegedly. See, the way that they're kind of wording this, they're kind of wording some of this as a matter of fact because of what people have said. And I'm not even talking about to the YouTube population. Remember, the boys remain silent. one of their mother, who is a judge, knows that anything you say or do can and will be held against you in a court of law. She knows that. Which means technically, whatever information they probably getting is hearsay from the retained attorneys. But the way that they're making this sound as a matter of fact, they left, Nolan stayed behind for show. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 7:45 a.m., July the 17th, 2026. I wanted to get this part on out there as a quick review. Make sure I glance over my notes. Brian of the Cajun Navy said it could have been a MOB. If you hear MOB, that means man overboard. I know you knew that. We've already talked about the body then seen waterlogged. Remains were found at 8:45 on Monday. Last sighting was 3 p.m. Boys left the island at 4:30. There's an hour and 30-minute gap there. And then there's the time in between then and the Coast Guard being called at 11 o'clock. I'm not getting that. You can't tell me it took from 4:30. It's almost a 5-hour ride to go 10 miles at about 30, 35 knots. There's a hour and 30-minute gap. There is a 6-hour gap in between this 4:30 of them and then them leaving the island at 4:30 and them contacting the Coast Guard, mentioning their issue. Triston saying that was him saying, give me my effing phone, but nobody has not asked him to this date at 7:47 a.m. in the morning, to my knowledge, who had his phone. When you were having it out with your girlfriend, what the dude did, what the bystander did, just come by and snatch your phone. Is there a discrepancy in if that was even said? And then last but not least, the hate for the Ben Crump. I've had my issues with Ben Crump, but he's usable. With Slickback Al Sharpton, those are some names, rather up or rather down, rather good or rather bad. Will get people's attention. And as it stands right now, I'm talking about as we sit here, the question still remains. What happened to the young man? Like, who's willing to put all bull crap to the side and really get to the nitty gritty? And last but not least, like I told you at the beginning, one or two things happen. And I believe this the second. The first would have been just too easy to explain. If he was MOB and they didn't know it at the time, they went a couple of clicks down before they realized it. That could have been as simple as making it up close enough to make a phone call to get people really out there to get the looking. The second one is they were playing around. Come on and swim for it. You can get on the boat, but swim for it. Man, y'all keep moving it out further and further. Laughy, laughy, jokey, jokey. Because if it comes out that there was no physical trauma done to him, that still doesn't mean they didn't do nothing to him. Huh? That don't mean that. Like I said, it could have been real simple. Real simple. No, you ain't getting on. You got to swim out here for it. Y'all look at him swimming for it. And then they can tell somebody he was swimming for it. I would love to know when and what were the first phone calls to all the parents. Which parent got the first call or adult? What was the movement? Too much time done went by. By the time Ben Crump came into this thing, 96 hours had already went by. And what did they tell you on TV? What does the first 48 say? You got 48 hours to get jiggy. Outside of that realm, you need some help. What would really matter here would just be the truth. Like Kazon's truth. That's all I have. If I think of anything else, I'll be back on this subject. Other than that, we're going to be moving forward on this channel, getting back to the teaching. Because black is an adjective. It modifies and/or describes a noun. Third grade grammar. That's all. That is it. The next thing you know we'll do is we'll be sure to bring back any other updates. Of course, when the autopsy comes out, the toxicology everybody was humming on at first. I'm talking about, and I ain't going to lie, they're going to have a hard time convincing me that boy, if that boy was getting ready to go get busy on Monday, and from with his parents and just the vibe I get from the young man, you're going to have a hard time getting me to buy. He took something that he didn't have no business taking. I'm not buying that. I can't buy that. I won't buy that. All right. Keep your ears and eyes open. And again, if anything develops, it may not be as long as this video, but we will make sure we cover it. Other than that, when we come back, we're going to get back to class. Any questions or concerns, you can feel free to reach me at Gmail. That's kazon@gmail.com. That's it.
Beat money. Beat money. money.